To create a 3D game that takes place in prehistoric Florida, what we wanted to do is find out two things. First of all, what did prehistoric Florida look like? And second of all, how to make it 3D. The first part was relatively easy. We took a look at the Pliocene epoch and set up a map that looked like some of the maps that we found online of Florida about 2 to 5 million years ago. Now that we had this information, we needed to build it into a 3D world. This is where I hand it off to Gio. Gio's going to talk about how we created that 3D world and all the different pieces that went into doing so. Alright, so here's Gio, and Gio's going to explain how we did the 3D map, why we did it the way we did, and then show an example of, what we made.
Okay, so let's start off with our reference map, which as you can see is Florida, but it's a lot smaller because it was way back in time. We have our little island and the rest of it. Over here,
That's what Florida looked like back then?
yeah.
How long ago was that?
That was 2 million years ago, in the Pliocene epoch.
Oh, very good.
And as you can see, back then there's a lot more hills and a lot more different varieties of plants, but there still is, but they're not as the same. You know, they're a lot more spiky back then.
Okay.
All right, let's head down here over to our height map.
Now, what's a height map?
A height map is what you use in some programs to make a 3D map. To tell the game to make this, like, white is high and black is low and gray is in the middle. Basically drawing the hills and everything.
So the whole map is what? It's a grayscale map, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So were there really hills like that in the back of Florida like that, or why is it all white? Why did we go with white at the back?
We went with white in the back because we couldn't just do an invisible wall because everybody hates those. So we just put, mountains there to create a wall.
Game barrier.
Yeah, exactly. So we're not walking into Georgia and New Jersey and
so
things
this
like
map
that.
is basically our take on that map, right?
Exactly.
All right, now what's this image over here?
That's the color map. That's the one that the game lays on top of this one. So basically, if you were to walk around in the game, you would go through, each individual color.
Okay, I got a question for you. That map, how big is that map?
That map, as you can see, let's put my mouse over it. It's only 1024 pixels by 1024.
So,
but when it's in the game, we scale it out into a bigger, image. So we're not walking around this little.
Okay, so the map is like big enough to travel around?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your purpley thing here?
That's our normals picture. Now, you can also call it a bump map, but it's usually called a normals map. It is the how do I say it? It's the picture that shows different lighting at certain angles to make it look like there's like bumps and whatever, so you don't have to draw every bump.
Okay, so you're not making all individual bumps. You're putting it on there and in the picture, and it pans it out. Okay, so we started with this as our Florida. And this is the type of terrain that we're going to be looking at making. We've got our map, that. So, the million-dollar question. Can you run around in this world yet?
Yes, we do have it run around. Okay. Let's head on over here and run the program.
Okay. Use your arrows over there.
Okay, there we go. Wait for
okay, that was our placeholder duck that we had in there in order to... Okay, you have to click the button a couple of times to get to a...
There we go. Perfect.
Okay, once you see the plants. There you go.
As you can see, we can move around here. And we got our plants. They are little pineapples.
Okay, take me to the water so I can see...
Alright.
Okay, see, that's where the beach is coming up.
Yeah, see how we changed the color?
Oh, okay, excellent.
And our water is basically just a gigantic transparent brick we put under the entire map.
Okay.
And if you walk around over here, and we'll change color and change bumps, as you can see over here, as we go along.
Very, very cool. Alright, so you got your character moving around in the game world. So, then what's the next step?
The next step,
Alright, Gio. So, what happened?
Things.
Things.
Okay. So, we were going to do the 3D thing, but the amount of time and work we would have to put in would be a lot. So we're thinking about doing 2D. But right here, as you see, what we have open is something called Blender, which is used for animating. How do you move the... Okay, there we go. We got our dirt face over here. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Okay.
And Blender is a thing to use in order to make animations by putting a skeleton into it.
Okay, so you made what first?
First, you made the model.
Okay, and then we...
And then you just kind of put the bones inside. You kind of, you move them in and you connect them together.
So can you move a bone for me?
Sure. Let's go ahead and move the head bone. And I think we just take this and then we can kind of see. We can.
Okay.
And we can, if we turn up the camera.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not good at this thing.
All right. So. So we put it. Well, basically, we put in a couple of weeks on this. We realized we were getting in over our head with the 3D, what we wanted to create, and we knew that we wouldn't be able to create it to the quality that we want to create it. We just end up doing this, jumping around in Blender, and we actually wanted to get the game going. So what did we end up starting to go with?
We were thinking about doing a 2D, I think, 8-bit look, or just, a pixelated 2D kind of a game.
Okay. Because you've been decent at the 2D art. I can get a grasp on doing the 2D graphics. So what do you think our next video is going to be about?
Our next video will be about, drumroll please, about the making of the 2D game.
The 2D game, that's right.
Yeah.
All right. So while we didn't use any of this, we learned a ton about making 3D models using software like Blender, Animator, and things like that, and what's involved in building a skeleton, rigging up a character, and animating them.
Bye-bye. Where's my hat?